Namo Amida Butsu, The Living Spirit of Master Shinran Shonin by Gansen John Welch. The sole remedy for the sickness of samsara is the great healer Shakyamuni Buddha, who taught the unsurpassed Amida Dharma in his Buddha of Infinite Life Sutra. Living in the deep darkness of delusion, ignorance, arrogance, folly, illusion, and confusion, we cannot recognize the light and despise the compassionate and wise. We are sick psychologically, physiologically, biologically, and emotionally. Our societies, civilizations, and cultures are fatally flawed and cannot survive and endure. So we must urgently and sincerely seek a genuine cure for the ills of ignorance, folly, evil, insanity, injustice, greed, anger, suffering, immorality, great disappointments, difficulties, struggles, and mundane banalities, as these are the daily samsaric realities that we must all frequently endure, and for which there is no lasting cure, except enlightenment through Amida and his unique and supreme Dharma. Yet very few seek the only genuine cure that is complete, perfect, and pure. We foolishly and sadly seem to prefer to remain devoted to our delusions, confusions, arrogance, opinions, and illusions, as we blindly pursue these dangerous passions and the dark regions of our minds and hearts. What are we hoping to find there? With certainty all Buddhas will answer, nothing but pain, problems, suffering, and cares, and endless karmic cul-de-sacs and snares. This suffering will endure if we live as we do now, without Amida's primal vow. So do not hesitate, doubt, or procrastinate. Think and say with all your might, mind, and hearts, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you, Amida Buddha. Homage to Amida Buddha. I take refuge in Amida Buddha. The above verses were inspired by the following passages from the works of Reverend Josho, Adrian, Cirlea. Quote, You most compassionate Dharma King, who revealed the true essence of the Pure Land path and made it accessible to all beings. Shinran Shonin, emanation of Amida Buddha and Avalokiteshvara. At your feet I bow with the deepest gratitude. End quote. The above was written by Reverend Josho Adrian Cirlea and can be found together with an excellent article entitled Shinran, a manifestation of Amida Buddha and Avalokiteshvara. This is highly recommended, and Josho has it on his official website. The link is provided in the PDF attached below. The Path of Acceptance, commentary on Tannisho, pages 40 to 42. Commentary on the 9th chapter, no need of special feelings to be born in the Pure Land. Quote, Although I say the Nembutsu, the feeling of dancing with joy is faint with me, and I have no thought of wanting to go to the Pure Land quickly. How should it be for a person of the Nembutsu? How many of us did not ask ourselves even once the same question, like this question of Yuienbo? How many of us did not think that maybe something is wrong with us because we do not feel every day that extreme joy described in the sutras, and do not wish to go to the Pure Land immediately? How many of us were not scared that maybe we cannot go to the Pure Land because we do not feel happy about it every time, being so much detached to this life? Yuienbo was very courageous to ask Shinran Shonin this question, which he was asking not only for himself, but also on our behalf. He is indeed the representative of our greatest fears and attachments to life. I imagine him fearfully waiting for his master's answer, which will indicate if he is walking the right path or not, if his birth in the Pure Land was assured or not. His question was not just an ordinary question, but one which probably came from a great inner turmoil. I'm sure that question burdened his heart many days and nights, something like, How can I attain birth in the Pure Land if I do not feel joy all the time, and I'm never ready to die and go there? Is something wrong with me? Am I walking the right Nembutsu path or not? Quote, I too have had this question, and the same thought occurs to me. Do you too, Yuienbo? End quote. This first sentence of Shinran's answers was maybe shocking, but immediately gave a sense of relief to Yuienbo. His master did not scold him. On the contrary, he even began his explanations by saying that he had the same feelings and asked himself the same question. Then he continues by saying other shocking words of relief. Quote, the very fact that I do not rejoice at what should fill me with such joy that I dance in the air and dance on the earth, I realize all the more that my birth is completely settled. End quote. This is extremely profound. The absence of daily joy and the presence of fear of death, with a subsequent lack of wish to go to the Pure Land immediately, are not an obstacle to birth in the Pure Land, but on the contrary, they are the assurance that our birth is completely settled. It is because Amida saves exactly such beings as this. Such beings with such feelings are the reason why Amida made his primal vow. Also, our attainment of birth in the Pure Land and our feelings are two separate things which cannot influence one another. Our feelings and fears depend on our personal karma and blind passions, while our birth in the Pure Land depends only on Amida's power. This is why our own feelings and attachments cannot influence birth in the Pure Land. The power of our illusions and fears cannot be compared with the power of Amida's compassion manifested in his primal vow. Nothing can equal Amida's power, to which we totally entrust ourselves and which causes us to be born in the Pure Land. What a relief! Yuienbo felt, and we in whose names he asked this question feel the same relief. The salvation of Amida does not expect anything from us, not even to feel joy because we are saved. We may also keep our attachments to this life and be afraid of death. Everything is okay. It does not matter that we do not want to go to the Pure Land immediately. It does not matter if we are afraid to die, even at the slightest sign of sickness or danger. Amida understands this, and he accepts us just as we are. He knows that we cannot overcome the fear of death, and that the joy of being assured of birth in the Pure Land might be many times put into shadow by our daily sufferings, which come from ignorance and attachments. Amida has not the smallest requirement from us. All we need to do is just to entrust in him, and he will do everything needed to cause us to be born in the Pure Land when our lives come to the end. We are allowed to be afraid, and even to be attached to this house of pain we call life. Amida did not create his primal vow for Buddhas or Bodhisattvas who are already enlightened and free of blind passions, but for evil beings full of attachments and illusions, afraid of death and of even the smallest sign of illness, who are not capable of attaining Buddhahood through their own powers. At the end of his answer to Yuienbo's question, Shinran has a big and healthy laugh, saying to him and to us with a great sense of humor, quote, if we had the feeling of dancing with joy and wishing to go to the Pure Land quickly, we might wonder if we were not free of blind passions. End quote. So, let us all calm down and smile with this last sentence. We are saved as we are. Nothing is required from us. Really nothing. Very important. Josho's book, Commentary on the Sutra on the Buddha of Infinite Life, is an excellent and important book that clearly, comprehensively, and accurately explains and clarifies with a great insight this greatest of all the sutras, and the reason for Shakyamuni manifesting in human form on this planet and during this historical era, in order to teach this sutra. It is essential reading for all genuine and sincere students of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism or Amida Dharma. Namo Amida Butsu.